Yeah, we're gonna start our D&D session. I'll conclude this. Gaming as usual. Thank you for sharing that story. Not that I won't be looking at chat, but as I'll be focusing on the players, I'll look at chat in case y'all are doing any sort of like any RP or other things, comments, or I'll try and interact with you there. But to
Oh, I mean, we could start it with Selene giving Mordecai a dude. Really? Look.
I mean, Selene kind of has a spotlight right now, in so much that, you conducted this ceremony to seal the remains of Mr. Halver and Noralai, and then of course Kazimir the Curious Hunter came by and noticed your beautiful Aslandian tan question mark. You're not pale.
Seen what's under the mask.
Well, so yeah, let's start with Selene. Selene, what is going on with you right now? Where are we picking up in your mind?
I am currently looking at Mordecai with a really. I thought you were more intelligent than that look. I will do a very quick read. I was talking to Mordecai about the flesh tree and taking the fight to Shunru. And he says that whatever wild magic that he has built up with him from his feeding on Noralai will disappear if he feeds on something else. Yes, that's very true. But Mordecai, that just means we have to find another way of harnessing wild magic, doesn't it?
I know that.
And I mean, it's that's why in my mind it's probably an idea to go to Oldport, because at the very least they might have some text on how we might be able to harness wild magic for ourselves without resorting to the will obviously work but admittedly rather horrid second solution of going and conscripting a bunch of people like Noralai to strike at the truth with magic. Displace as few people as possible. And not to mention, there is the plus side of we can get Noralai's body interred in Oldport, so that, someone won't touch it and get possessed by a Fey spirit, because that would be terrible. Not to mention, we can't just bury her somewhere, because, what happens if the crystals begin to grow, and what happens if Browbeat begins to happen? We don't want a Browbeat 2.0.
Certainly don't. Didn't you touch the bones on your way out of the?
I can.
So, I mean, Noralai's remains are safer than the Browbeat crystals?
Well, I can mainly because I'm already, infected with the Fae.
Yeah, but
you can't see him at the moment because he's kind of blinked out of existence thanks to the fact that I'm carrying the Fomorian Eye, but...
So, I mean, the Fomorian Eye suppresses the Fae powers, and Mordecai doesn't have any protection.
I don't.
I don't know that Noralai's remains are that unsafe. And as much as I hate to say it, I think we should just keep them. I mean, we have the crystals. We're gonna need the crystals.
I mean, yeah. If push comes to shove, I could maybe use an arm to revivify someone. You'll have a little bit of Noralai in.
It's not what I meant. I meant we might be able to use the crystals to suppress Fae powers. To channel powers, just like Noralai did.
I mean, I couldn't sense any wild magic off of them, but that might be an idea, something that I didn't think of.
mean,
Oh,
we know they had
I-
magic because when I identified them, we saw that they were, they had polymorph magic in them, and I mean, maybe that was the transformation that they were supposed to do. I don't know. Why don't I
I'll
try
have to.
identifying them again? It won't take that long.
That,
It'll only take 11 minutes.
well, I mean, we have more than enough time. We have more than enough time. Yes, actually. I've noticed that a particular someone has been looking at me. I'm not going to say anything about it just yet, but that's rather interesting. Rather interesting indeed. She does.
You're muted.
You're muted.
Sorry about that. So yeah, when everything is absolutely fine in the world and you're sitting there looking adorable, but the room is on fire around you, that's the emote to use. So bright, both who enjoys bright light and fire, and whose world is possibly turning to ash and erupting in flames around you simultaneously. What's going on with you?
Okay, so that's all great news. So I mean, I'm obviously I'm really sad about Norlai, and I'm really sad about Mr. Halver, and I just think we really ought to get back to Mr. Halver's place as soon as we can. There might be clues there, and we need to protect it from looters. And Norlai would want us to rescue Yori and Brayson, who are there. And
I mean, we also need to grab this stuff too.
What stuff?
Like, for example, the fact that Mr. Halver probably has quite a large amount of magical reagents that he knows.
That's what I mean. Protected from looters. But we don't know. We don't know how long, because he had to create that whole place with magic. So with him gone, we don't know how long it's going to last. It could be gone already, or it might disappear tomorrow, or in a million years. I don't know. But it's one of those. Or possibly in between. So
when we actually get into the game, I might ask to make an Arcana check to see if.
Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I still want to. I want to.
And the other thing is, I really want to take some of the time, because I know everybody else was talking to each other and having time, but I really just want to spend that time. I want to inspect Herbert for seeds and things, anything that might still be alive, and see if we can plant him. That's all.
Very good. We're going to bounce from our beautiful pink bright over to our beautiful blue boy, Mordecai. Mordecai, what'eth uppeth, as they used to say back in Get Ye Flask times.
Well, definitely feeling the impact of Norlai's passing, and I've been trying to search for comfort, but Selene is the worst comforting cleric ever.
Yeah, her domain isn't snuggles and rainbows and sunshine.
One would think as a death cleric, one would be a little bit more accustomed to doling out the condolences, but I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what we're doing next, what we have to do, because it seems like we're maybe going on a path that's probably going to end in all of our deaths, but okay.
I mean, again.
Question mark. But Sure. I'm willing to do whatever it is that I need to do to get my mind off of things right now. Always plenty to do. Yeah.
Ooh. The majority race. Ah, yes. Abatorial.
Nope, just getting just have everything set up so that we could go to sleep, I guess.
What is happening with you, Kazimir? As I remember to unmute my my microphone again.
Not much. You just join these folks. They seem alright. They are very sad. I heard about them losing friend, but they didn't want to talk much about it, so I will not ask. Otherwise, I'm just here. See where this goes.
Okay, yeah, just drifting along. Yeah, this is not old stomping grounds, because that might have been Aslandia, or at least it's not old stomping grounds. This is more recent stomping grounds. You're comfortable on the coast, aren't you? On beaches and such?
I want to scorch Aslandia.
The sun's already doing that.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, I want to speed up the process.
And by the way, it may have been a painful experience to get that scar on your cheek, but I'm enjoying seeing it. If any of you do not see the scar, it is present.
Oh wait, scars?
Oh, snap! Oh, I was just looking at the one. Yeah. Well. Oh my.
I was waiting.
Well, yeah. I'm sorry if I kind of blew your cover there or something, but boy,
No,
the things the things you learn when you camp out on the beach. If that one episode of Avatar on the Ember Isle or whatever made any sense, then we're having a nice get together, a nice little jamboree on the beach. Speaking of which, it just so happens, everyone, that I have a nice, fun beachside picture for you all. Isn't this delightful? The sound of the waves, the grass off to the side, some driftwood. You know, in the sun, or under clothes in the sun, Mordecai. It's warm. Remember, because we're still in springtime, so it's nice and warm. Though there is a nice cold breeze coming off of the sea. But you make your camp here. As you are walking. You're walking as far as you could on this first day after the events of the fight with Mr. Halver and losing Norlai and such. And continuing to walk along the beach is, well, I mean, you could see for a great long distance, up and down and out to sea. And you're guaranteed to reach the port city. I mean, it's not gonna, get lost at the next right, because you have a constant guide it'll be off to your right. So you were going to pop a particular protective or a shelter spell here, correct?
Yes. Leomund's tiny hut
Ooh.
as a ritual.
As a ritual. All right. So we are going to... Are you doing anything in particular? Anything special with it? You get some options that come with the tiny hut that you...
So in order to cast a spell, Mordecai pulls out his violin and starts playing a very kind of old port sounding lullaby. So he just kind of plays that for 11 minutes, and what appears is an opaque dome, the color of the sand.
Okay.
Because he wants it to camouflage. But inside is very comfortable for someone who lives in Oldport.
Oh. Okay.
As in, kind of similar to what we're feeling right now, but, because there's not really much of a temperature change, but it's comfortable. It's not cold.
Okay. And who are you letting in?
Everyone here, including Kazimir,
Oh, how very nice of you.
because he followed us.
I was asked to come.
Okay.
Okay.
You're an inspector friend. Yes.
Ah, yes. Yes. Are you, are you headed to Mask of Horns?
I head wherever I feel like.
So you're gonna keep following us?
I was asked to come. Do you not want me here?
We
Do you have
could
issue,
use
Mordecai?
we could use the help.
Could use the help.
Yeah.
Well, you are welcome in the shelter. It's a dome. So have fun. And when you walk inside, you can see everything around because it is transparent from the inside. But it's opaque from the outside, so intruders can't actually. Well, they can see a sand-colored dome, but they can't penetrate it. So.
There are some sand dunes that are on the beach. Would you want to try and build your hemisphere up next to one of them to blend in a little bit more? Or
Kind of blend in.
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's blend in a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. We'll have you kind of scooch up next to one and.
Yeah. Middle of the beach seems a little weird.
For visual presentation here, this is Mordecai's blanket fort with the sign "No BBEGs allowed." Okay, so you've walked for a good distance here. People are getting tired and without wanting to face exhaustion, so realistically it's more nighttime. But I just personally like this beach picture, so you're going to have to apply your own color palette and your imagination. That it is evening time by the time you're popping the tent and getting everyone involved here.
I want to make sure to do my Nistel's magic aura. Tomorrow is the last day for me.
Yeah.
I have enough spell slots to boop them as well.
Boop boop boop.
Boop.
Okay. So the sun has set. The temperature does drop, but I believe that you can control to a degree the interior temperature here. Mordecai, this is nice and comfy.
Comfortable.
Kazimir, is this? Have you stayed at all in? I don't know how posh this is necessarily, but in a comfortable place like this.
Not like this, not magic sphere, but yeah, I've been into towns before. Usually I sleep outside, make my own shelter. It's very nice, not as cozy though.
Do you prefer hanging out in the branches or sort of at the bottom of a tree, or if you sleep outside, you just kind of find a bench or something?
Button usually will build something. Well, sometimes just sleeping out in the open is fine. You know, um, especially when I was in Islandia. Just put the bedroll down on the sand. It's cozy. It's nice. It's cool. You see the stars. It's very nice.
That doesn't hurt your back, does it, Kazimir? You've been laying out on
No,
a
not
bedroll
on
for a
sand.
while.
On sand is very nice.
Okay, well, you are a sand elf, so I imagine that you've adapted for that. I heard that someone tried to market, there's water beds, but someone tried to market a sand bed that didn't really go over so well. All right, so
turn it into sandstone.
the evening passes. Are any of you going to light any kind of a fire for cooking, for warmth, for just sitting around telling stories or contemplating? Or are we?
Isn't needed.
Yeah.
But...
It doesn't, so there's
And I can
driftwood
control the lighting inside the dome too.
Yeah.
So
I don't need to cook because. Oops. So,
I think rations for today. We can cook tomorrow.
Did any of you end up gaffling any of the fishing gear from Mr. Halver's seaside shack?
Yes.
Okay.
I asked for permission, but yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You did. Okay.
Yep.
So Kazimir, then Jacob is here and is a newcomer as well, but more focused on the super newcomer. With a lot of your time here, maybe besides sleeping, or even if you do intend on sleeping, are you going out and fishing at the sea just for the sake of doing something that's kind of hunting or wild or taking in the breeze, or are you comfortable sleeping in this dome, or are you would you sleep maybe against it on the outside, or what are you doing in this case?
Dome is fine. Might do little fishing before.
Sure. Okay. So Kazimir goes out and casts a line, maybe doing some night fishing here as the
We could use the fire to cook the fish.
if you wish. It is it's a beautiful beach. It's a spring nighttime here. You tell me if you're lighting a fire though.
I'm not.
No. Selene, do you want to make a fire?
Actually, I can't.
I could make fire.
Kazimir, you can rub
I
some
can
sticks together?
change its color.
I can make fires, but it's fun to watch Kazimir do it.
Casimir makes nice fire, cook up fish. Have a nice day.
Very well. Kazimir, would you please do your best to show how you mundane folk create fires? Please roll me a survival. You can do this at advantage, though. There's no pressure. You've been out in the wilds for 22. Yeah, the wind kind of initially was getting the flames to not catch, but sure enough, like Kazimir's here blowing on it. Bright, telling you, oh, the key to this is to rub until it finally ignites. Is there any double entendre in that, Kazimir, or are you just being straight serious?
Perhaps.
Fair enough, sure.
Selena just be like,
and Kazimir then even perhaps in the face of this demonstration to Bright with any sort of extra meaning or not, you might have received an answer from Bright as your fire sparks to life and it immediately gutters. Though not from a breeze. It just sort of stops. How are you going to cook those fish you caught?
That is very odd.
I'll
what?
I'll give a guidance to Kazimir. Like, try again.
Casimir, go find the wood that is super dry just to make sure.
Oh yeah, this wood is super dried, ready to go. Driftwood often is very good kindling here. 15. All right, so once more.
16.
16.
Oh, 16.
16.
Once
Hey,
more,
hey.
you're at it. Everything is by the book. You even sort of put yourself in the way of the breeze to block it. The secret is to, and you're going over this, and once more, you collected some, some of the dried grasses, like the beach grass that died over the winter. You're using that to get things going, and it catches, and then it snuffs out. It is very weird.
This does not happen usually.
I'm gonna take my tinderbox and I'm gonna try and light some kindling.
Sure. Okay, Mordecai, you go out and with your fancy big city match.
I can't actually leave the dome. Never mind.
You can hand me the
Antidote.
Actually, hold on. Do I have a... Hold on. I have a tinderbox, so I'll go out and do it.
Selene, with your big
I have-
fancy city kindling. Sure. You have a matchstick. You throw it onto the pile of the seagrass and the dry driftwood, and a little fire starts.
And... I make it blue.
Oh, all right then. So not only does the fire start, and it doesn't go out, and Kazimir, the fire turns blue.
Magic fire. Interesting.
it stays blue for a minute, and then it will turn back into its golden golds and oranges and reds, but probably a tiny bit of blue in there. I feel, why not? There's no other reason to use. No, not a lot of other reason to use thaumaturgy at the moment.
Well, Kazimir, at least you have a little camp or a cooking fire here, and you can put the fish that you caught next to it to roast.
Interesting.
I'll put it right here. Yay.
It should be blue though.
It was blue for a minute.
Well, no, because it's only blue for like a minute.
Okay, so the fish is cooked. Whether or not any of you indulge in it is up to you. But Kazimir did a really good job. Ended up catching some fish. May have had some trouble with the fire, but the fire itself, despite turning blue there for that minute, roasted them pretty well. No one. So no one. No one's coming up to the fire like, oh, hey, you got something to spare or whatnot. It's still, a lot of people are probably still huddled up at home. This isn't exactly the busy tourist season on the beaches. And so Kazimir, you bring the fish in, and you go to share. Is anyone eating Kazimir's fish?
I don't eat things like this. I'm sorry.
Selene?
Neither do I.
I do. That's fine.
Okay, Selene, you grab one of the
More
fish off
for me
the...
and Selene.
What's that?
More for me and Selene.
Yes. So Selene and Kazimir offer a skewered fish and cheers to each other, and you each take a bite, and there's just this moment where you stop, you kind of look at each other, not necessarily like deep and loving in each other's eyes, but you look at each other and kind of look down at the fish. And Kazimir, these fish are charred to perfection. They were hot and steaming right when you took them from the fires, kind of put in the sand, at an angle or on skewers over the fire at an angle. And you and Selene just bit into like a almost cold fish.
Okay. What the... Hey, Bri, your magical expertise is required.
Oh, what's going on?
So, we cooked these fish, right? Well, Kazimir did. And
I saw.
they're, like, cold in the middle. even though they were over the fire.
I don't know what would cause that. Because Kazimir had trouble lighting the fire too, so maybe Kazimir is like secretly a cold, like an ice elemental. Is that possible?
I
Like
am
to the plane of
Icelandia.
ice. Well, but see, maybe
This
that's
is a
why,
very
because
hot country.
that's the only way to stay comfortable in Aslandia. Maybe is to like secretly be an ice elemental. Have you ever?
I mean, they're sand elementals. I mean, why not?
The ship was assaulted kind of by them.
Yeah.
I'm concerned.
Bumbleders.
Concerned about the fact that you can't cook a fish to save your life?
No, but I can cook, thank you. I'm gonna hold it over the fire and see if the flesh cooks.
Sure. Yeah, so you leave the hut and you are starting to reheat your fish, and it's certainly overcooking. Like it's smoking, the skin isn't a nice char, it's now starting to kind of like peel back and smell all burnt.
That's fine, I'll peel the skin off.
Okay.
But I'll take a bite of the flesh now. Another bite of the flesh.
It's warm. Actually, it's even more than warm. It's as you would expect it to be after having been on the fire.
Is it warm?
What kind of crap is this?
Well, Selene, given what is currently on your mind, would you like to make an Arcana?
I would like to make an Arcana check.
Sure.
I'm gonna. Well, that too. I'm gonna. Oh.
Okay.
And hold on. Yep.
10 plus 3.
It's a 30.
Well, there are two things that come to mind. One is this could possibly be a wild magic zone. Hot fire that makes cold food. Or there's also the fact that, you use thaumaturgy to turn the fire blue. If it's not wild magic, because, the magic did what you asked. Maybe it's low level wild magic or sort of just something very ambient. Either that or someone might be playing some fun pranks or tricks, kind of like what you were trying to show off with the fire.
I can feel the heat from the fire from where I'm standing.
Yeah. Do you have the spell Detect Fire? It's a ranged touch.
Not touching the fire. Not touching the fire. That's just a bad time. That's just a very bad time.
It's a cantrip. You can do it as much as you want.
Okay.
What?
Selene is gonna go and try and catch a fish.
Good luck.
Okay.
Survival, yeah?
Yeah. Go ahead and give me a survival.
I will, of course, ask for Weejass's guidance in catching the fish. And...
Sure. All right. 14 plus 2, 16.
16.
All right. So you're out there for you're out there for a while. You're conducting an experiment. Mordecai, I mean, you're inside the hut. You're watching this. Like Selene just analytically, she is a scientist, if not the the cold hand of science. But in a bit of a bluster, she's picking up this fishing rod and just like kind of stomping through the sand out to the shore. Has this nice like moonlight silhouette, the sparkling waves of the ocean, and just cast the line out into the waves, and is just there waiting. And it takes. Oh wait, that's. Oh, all right, not too bad. It just takes 10 minutes, and you get you snag a fish, you bring it in. It's not it's not the biggest, but hey,
But the experiment,
For the experiment.
it will do perfectly. I'm
You
just going to
harvested flesh.
just stick it on a stick and put it on the fire. After gutting it and everything like that. 'Cause it needs a little bit of clean up.
Make a medicine at advantage.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I can do that.
This is more for curiosity. Okay.
Does a 23
Yeah,
with my surgical precision?
So I mean, Kazimir, you're a hunter. You've certainly gutted and descaled a lot of fish. Bright, avert your eyes. This is gonna be.
This is disappointing, but I mean they're gonna eat those fish, so I guess it's okay.
Not wasted.
Mordecai, I mean, if you're watching Selene here, but it's up to you two. But Kazimir and Mordecai and Jacob's there too again. But again, I'll not insert too much roleplay stuff if I can help it. But you see Selene just take a dagger and just expertly just fillet this thing, and just sort of like anatomically remove, like peels back layers of muscle and skeleton. Like this is the perfect fish fillet. If only she would use her powers for cuisine, then.
If only I could eat it.
And yeah. Oh, you are pescatarian, are you not?
I am.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
pescatarians
a
do eat fish.
blooditarian now.
Yeah. Well, have
Well, I mean,
Selene
technically
eat the
speaking, you
fish
can
and then
eat it.
eat Selene.
It's just not that it's just you shouldn't.
Yeah,
It
didn't
wouldn't-
he try that earlier? And it just
It's
didn't.
one of those.
work?
It wouldn't do anything. So.
Yeah, it wouldn't do anything, but you'd still taste it.
So yeah, Selene, you with a quick you know exactly like where to go. You put the fish down with sort of like a the tip of your dagger, kind of like a pithing needle, just like right in there between the skull and the spine. The thing just instantly stops moving in the quickest, most painless way possible, and then very fluidly, you get the fish prepared. You skewer it through all the places it needs to be skewered, and you set it right on the campfire, and the drips of the fresh seawater begin hissing and spittling. It's acting how it should. A little bit of steam starts smelling really good after a short while. You can see like the salt water as the water's evaporating, kind of some salt crust is forming on the skin.
All right. Well, after that, so after it's like cooked, I'm pretty sure I'd know when it's cooked.
It's up to you. Some people want them really well done. Other people want sushi. So
we'll go nice enough that it's cooked, but not overly so.
okay,
And Selene will take a bite.
sure. Okay. You
Is it
you
cold
pull
in the
stick,
middle?
from over the fire. You it has a nice char to it. You see some of the salt crystals is sort of like almost like embedded in the flesh. You open your partially skeletal mouth, and no, it's warm. It's really good too.
Selene will just pass the other one to Kazimir, and she's like, right. Well, there'd be a couple, so pass one to Kazimir, and it's like, hey, Mordecai, come get some food.
I can't
Well,
leave the
actually,
dome.
that's right. Hold on. And Selene will pick up the last one and bring it over to him.
Sure, I'll eat it.
Okay.
It's not that you can't eat. It's not that you can't eat. It's just it doesn't give you any nutrition, but it doesn't mean you can't taste food.
We kind of want to talk about that in front of Kazimir and Jacob, though.
Well, no.
Jacob will have some fish.
That's just my
So-
Selene's thought. That's not actually Selene saying anything out loud to be like, yeah. It's just like, here, you go.
I assume she's like whispering that. It's like, here's
Yeah, she probably like
Hide the
whisper it
fact.
quietly.
Yeah.
pretend to
He'll eat
eat.
He'll eat it.
So yeah, the experiment. I mean, the fire was the color it was supposed to, the temperature was supposed to be, and the food seems to have decided it should be warm as normal.
Okay.
So,
Decent.
I'm
Kazimir,
gonna.
someone who lives off the land, foraging for food and surviving like that.
What?
I said, don't you normally like forage for food and live off the land?
Yes.
How?
How?
It's a strange
Sand dog
question to
meat
ask.
is not all it's cracked up to be.
It's really
What do
not.
you mean by that?
Well, I mean, it doesn't seem to be working for you today.
Yeah,
I have a theory. I have a theory about that. Give me a second.
You know, one time I was oh, you know those mushrooms you mentioned,
Yeah.
I've encountered them before actually. And they well, at first I didn't think much of it. I was like, oh, mushroom. And I picked them and then some of them sprouted up and jumped at it. And
Oh, that's
I have
no
not
good.
seen something like that before. Usually only things I see pop out of the ground are sand dogs. But those are much bigger.
Did you find them in Green Shield or were you somewhere else?
I was south.
Oh, so there are more of those mushrooms. They're not just in Green Shield.
Yes. But you know, those mushrooms, they did not behave like normal mushrooms, and not including the jumping part. But like when you went to cook them, they just didn't work. And then they tasted all right, but after that was not good.
In what way?
Not feeling bad, sick to stomach for like 3 days.
Oof.
Very bad. Do not eat those.
Well, it sounds like food poisoning.
Possible. It didn't seem poisonous at time, but 3 days. Yep.
So campfire stories are being shared. Kazimir is describing what happens on a hunt, and not all hunts go the way that you hope. Jacob, you are, well, you were initially fed a fish that by all means, all rights and means, was fully cooked, and yet it was kind of cold on the inside. And then Selene went out and did an experiment and caught a fish, cooked it, brought it back. It was also fully cooked and was also warm as it should be on the inside.
Very well filleted too.
One has to wonder, what sort of notes was I taking on this?
You were very quiet in the corner of this circular room, and you were taking extensive notes as Kazimir was describing the hunt and fishing. Selene went out and was doing some cooking, and Bright was just sort of around and smiling as she is wont to do.
Yeah, I have things to practice.
That is understandable.
I'm going to try something because I'm concerned.
This dome is only gonna last for like another 7 hours and a half, like 7.5 hours.
It's okay. If we need it, we can just like ritual cast it again.
I'm gonna be asleep. Well, sort of.
Yeah, I mean, you're actually not.
Oh, what do you
I
you're
feel
in
like I'm
an
missing out at the joke.
you're in an active state for 6 hours, and you can literally cast it again like no issues.
Does your friend not sleep?
He's a little bit special in that like he needs to rest, but sleep isn't something that he needs. It's a magical thing.
Oh,
It's the
interesting.
same for elves.
It's magic.
He's he looks like a tiefling, but he's actually part elf, and he has his sleep
Yeah.
thing that's the same
It's
as elves.
it's kind of like trancing, but a little bit different.
Fascinating.
So
Um,
you are half elf? Third
Half elf, half tiefling.
Yeah.
Cool. Interesting.
Which half?
It's the bottom half.
What would be the role to have a basic knowledge of biology and how that works?
It's doable. It's he's half tiefling, so he's half human actually. But you don't know that.
Well, I mean,
You don't know that.
half elves are also half human, so maybe he's 1/3 human, 1/3 elf, half tiefling.
Yeah,
It's
be
very
I guess
large.
it depends on Mesomasca, because traditionally a tiefling is not a half of something. The tiefling just takes over the whole thing, regardless of what the other part is.
Yeah,
That's exactly what he looks like. He's a tiefling, but he's technically half human.
he had a tiefling parentage and a human parentage.
But Jacob doesn't know this.
You can tell by the elbows.
By the
So it's
elbows.
the elbows that give it away. Yeah.
But no,
No, it's not. You see his eye
I'm gonna
is
do-
not like normal tiefling eye.
What I'm gonna
Not at
do
all.
is I'm going to cast Thaumaturgy, turning the flame blue again.
Noted?
Is the flame colder? Does it
No.
feel colder?
No,
You'll have to use detect fire for that.
Yeah.
Have I taken any?
Sorry. All I was gonna do is I was gonna try one of the fish again on the fire.
It heats as you'd expect it to heat. Blue
I'm
flames
gonna
and all.
take a bite.
A nice Mordecai blue at that. Yeah, it's very cooked, very hot.
How unnerving.
Exceptionally unnerving.
You've been at this for half an hour. Go to sleep.
Selene just kind of like slow turns to Mordecai. Like,
It is true that women do need their beauty sleep, otherwise we would not be able to bask in their radiance.
My
true.
goodness.
If I don't get
Sleep.
enough
Oh,
sleep,
I had
nobody
better
can
work.
bask in my fireballs.
That's a
Selene will
very
just
accurate
murmur.
description.
And now you know it to be true.
Selene will just murmur something under her breath and then go to sleep.
He
No,
gives
no,
Mordecai a wink like, I got you, brother.
He goes to bed. He's just laying there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like there's
Inactive.
separate rooms or anything.
Nope.
Now it's all communal living at the moment.
Yep, there's not even a tent flap to knock on. You just have to... Well, what happens,
There's plenty
happens.
of space for everybody to have a little bit of personal room, but
Jacob, as you were absorbed in your book here, you recall the conversation as you were sitting down after doing some contemplating off in the corner of the round room. And it's... If you want to go fishing, you can. You can sit by a campfire, like a camp/cooking fire that's been made that is causing a bit of a magical conundrum for Selene. And even Kazimir to a bit, at least initially, although I think Kazimir's just like, I ate. I fished. So it is...
the simple pleasures of life.
Mordecai is beginning a trance. A trance. And... I mean, you could just roll over and go to sleep. You can go and walk along the beach. You can crawl up. There is like a grassy area. That's still the. There we go. There's a grassy area. There's a bunch of driftwood that you could sit on, or you could build a big bonfire with it if you want. You can just leave footprints in the sand. Observe the clouds. It is nighttime, despite what the sky in the picture looks like. And as far as it looks, and really you have a good look up and down the coast and out to sea. You're the only people here. You don't see any other fires on the beach. There's stars in the sky, some clouds. It is a cold spring breeze coming in over the ocean. now that it's nighttime.
But it's comfortable
Well,
in the dome.
It is comfortable. Yes.
Given that it is, and if I understand this, everybody has gone to bed other than myself. Do I understand that correctly?
Well, yeah, Mordecai is sleeping.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
If
Yeah.
that is the case, then I will proceed to end up keeping on watch for at least the time being.
Okay.
In which case, I will proceed to end up grabbing whatever driftwood I can end up finding, preferably something that has had time to bask in the sun and dry out at least a little bit, and place it upon the fire, building it up a bit more. Less for the heat, more for the light.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's because of the recent springtime storms and things that have happened, and of course there was also in Green Shield. You remember there was that unseasonable blizzard that bore down in the area too, and that even inland that caused a lot of trees to lose their limbs, let alone any other storm systems that might have occurred elsewhere. So you're finding a lot of branches and such, because again, this isn't exactly prime tourist season on the beach. There's a lot of driftwood that's just sort of come up over the winter. It's been exposed to cold and dried out and rained on, but then cold again. So you're having awesome kindling wood, and you can also climb up onto this cliffside here and pull a bunch of dead seagrass sort of out, because it died with the change of in the fall to winter, and you can use that for kindling. So if you want a big bonfire, you can certainly get one that will absolutely last the night.
Yes, I'm most certainly wishing to end up doing that. Not that I wish to tire myself out, but enough to end up making sure that everybody's at least receives some form of rest before I end up turning in. And every so often, as I glimpse out towards the wonderful waves, just hearing them lap across the shore, trying to ignore that odd sign written in some ancient text, something about no bigs
BEGs.
around, whatever that means. I'm currently contemplating over the events.
Okay.
Still very much, despite the fact I cannot share my grief over the young one who has passed. It's something every guard feels, is that he's let down a civilian, he's let down the populace of which he serves. Now, there's been more than one occasion where the parentage would be screaming at him, "Why didn't you do something? Why didn't you do something sooner? Why couldn't you have done anything?" The odd thing is I don't think anybody really acknowledges that. We sleep with that question every night. Still, what can I do for the dead? So instead, I try and serve the living as my family would teach through my young age. He tries to wonder, trying not to think of the overwhelming information that these individuals have given upon him. Baseless as it may be, it is still something to consider. There's some truth even to madman's ravings. And yet he is wondering why it is that they never... They said they knew his sister, but they didn't tell anything about her, other than she was not as I knew. Perhaps they're hiding something. It'll warrant further investigation. But first, I have to end up getting them to civilization and then bring these charges to light, which I still have written down here in detail. After a moment.
Go ahead.
After an hour or more has passed, however long it has been. Don't really keep track of time with the stars. I try and, well, I believe I will end up trying to end up taking shelter inside after the fire has gone down a little bit. It's warm light starting to fade, and the night sky is our blanket.
Okay. So
Mordecai,
the
being awake, does see you come in.
good.
Well, so Mordecai just kind of gives him a glance when he comes in.
Mm-hmm.
He nods. He tries to be polite as he finds rest. Though in reality, he's just kind of creeped out maybe a little bit on the fact that you're now sleep staring. And he goes to bed.
Although Kazimir is doing the same.
Yeah. Yeah. And what you
Just
see
walk
is
into some ritual circle and everyone's just kind of like,
Yeah.
as they're sleeping.
what you're gonna see is that Jacob lays down and he stretches out like he's stretching and loosening up everything. Lays his hands behind his head, stares up the ceiling, eyes wide. And then after maybe like 30 seconds, you just hear. Eyes haven't moved.
His watch never ends.
Long since been curled up on my floof. To sleep on the left side now.
Yeah,
It's the only surviving floof. Although I still have the other floof. But you can't see it because I'm not. You just can't see it.
Fortunately, with T Brightfire, a little bit of the remaining floof was left behind, but your full luxurious other one is still there. Okay, so Jacob comes in after this sort of initial watch, although it's kind of a late watch because you marched for a while. The sun set, evening came up, and he was out reflecting to the sky, writing notes in his book. I don't think there was an official watch set up, but Jacob still, performed one. Do any of the rest of you? Mordecai.
Kazimir would take
implied,
watch after trance.
What's that?
Kazimir would take watch after he's rested.
Ah, okay.
To be fair, you don't even need to move.
Yeah.
Because
I have a lot of practicing to do in the morning.
I have a lot of practicing of sleep to do.
Okay. So Mordecai is always watching, correct?
Yeah, well, he was laying down for a little while, but now he's kind of just writing,
Okay.
maybe coming up with songs or something,
Okay.
sitting in the dome.
We'll say then, yeah, because you're homestuck. All right.
Yep.
Kazimir, then you
I get long
trance.
word.
You are concluding your trance, and Jacob has been out for a little bit, but you needed to finish up. What are you? As you enter this sort of meditative state, this dreamlike, or this like waking dream, or this kind of like lucid dreaming, what is your meditation session searching for, answering? Do you just kind of play it like a movie? Do you just recall a book you read and it's just sort of like watching a movie while you're resting? What is Kazimir's trance like?
Probably recalling adventures in Aslandia, fighting sand dogs, or recent hunts. Whatever's exciting.
Okay. Got a nice action flick going. All right, so your recollection of your adventures, plays out. It's getting you. While it is action packed, it's settling and calming because it's something something you're comfortable with. It's a part of you that you have this inborn ability to reflect upon as a memory, but it's not. It doesn't act necessarily like a memory. It's a relived experience. You know, if only someone invented some sort of magical illusion item that you could just take these sort of memories and just, you know, project them to experience them over and over again, or, you know, anyway. So you get up, and Jacob is sleeping with his eyes open, but he's not offering any sort of salute as you're getting up. You did, or rather, Mordecai did butt the dome up against a sand dune. So if you do want to take a watch, you would have to like climb to the top of the sand dune. That way you don't have a blind spot against the side of the dome.
Kazimir will do so.
Okay. This ain't your first sand dune. You scale it rather easily, and you know, you're not exactly a lighthouse, but you are in a higher on a higher grade, about 10 feet up, and the embers of the campfire are smoldering, giving you know, a little bit of smoke. It smells like fish and firewood. Smells very campsite-y. You know, you've been. Maybe that smells good to you. You've certainly lived a lot of your life this fashion. And there is a lot of sand around you, and maybe even sitting on top of a dune brings you back to maybe even the memory that you were thinking about while you were trancing just earlier. However, there is the sea. Now, Islandia does butt up against the sea, so it's not like, you know, you could never have visited the south coast of Islandia and experienced it. But you know, there's some similar aspects. And the time passes, the stars are beginning to wink out as dawn is going to be approaching soon. So far, nothing has caught your eye. I'll tell you what, though. Go ahead and make an investigation, or not an investigation. Make a perception. 10. Okay. Things seem all right. I mean, the waves are kind of kicked up because of these, you know, the temperature differences, and you know, there's a lot of ambient white noise from the waves crashing. Though, you know, no one's coming down the beach. You haven't seen a response fire. That whatever that silver bird was that was flying around, maybe occasionally kind of look up, you know, just in case. You don't see any sort of mythical birds like Ho-Oh flying around that are going to lead you on a wonderful adventure and earn a bunch of badges and friends. It's quiet. I mean, it's not quiet, but it's not stressful. So dawn is approaching. For some of the others here, they might be beginning to stir. Others, I mean, Bright's going to need some time to study. You might not know that, Kazimir, but you see the sun starting to peak up over the ocean horizon. The clouds are just this beautiful spray of orange and pink and violet. It like glitters and reflects across the sea. And you can just creating a wonderful, a beautiful effect if such things capture your interest. Do you want to stay up here? Do you want to go down and be relieved of watch, or is this a happy place for you here? Also, Goblin Cave, thank you very much for stopping by. And
I
and
can
raiding
watch
us.
until everyone is done.
I'm sorry, say it one more time. I was talking over you like a very rude person.
I can watch until everyone is awake.
Okay. But by the way, Kazimir, are you sitting on the dome or are you sitting on the dune?
Yeah.
On the dune, okay.
I passed through the dome, so I
You
can't
cannot sit on the dome. Nope.
Okay. I was gonna say, otherwise, like, everyone could just, like, look up and there's, like, Kazimir just sort of, like, butt print just, like, right on top there, squished on the dome. He's just, you know, wistfully looking out to sea and just... Little does poor Kazimir know. I'm sorry, but once more, thank you very much to Goblin Cave et al. For coming over and raiding us here, as we are having our Tuesday RP session. Let me give you some MattyMorgs hype and love for that. We are having it's a bit of a beachside adventure right now, and we're gonna see what happens as the party just went through a pretty big shakeup, and we'll see where everything is going to settle and sort. For those of you sticking around, sit back and relax. We're actually going to be taking a bit of a break here at in 5-10 minutes or something when I get to this next part. It doesn't have to be terribly long, but I will need to take a quick break, and then we'll come back and continue where we're leaving off. You all out there in the audience can't see what is being discussed in Roll20 chat right now. So anyway, I'm sorry, Kazimir, did you say you're staying up there even as the sun is rising? And okay, all right, that's fine.
As the sun rises, so does Selene.
Okay.
From her slumber.
All right. So Selene is coming too.
Mordecai's just sitting there.
Yep.
She slept with the mask on, by the way.
Okay. Kazimir is a very dedicated person. I mean, maybe it's not totally weird because you know the mask wearers and all, but yeah, there you go.
And as everybody starts to wake up, the dome is starting to fizzle.
Yep.
Are we getting up?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Pack up and
Is
get
Bright
ready to
sleeping
go.
in, or is she getting up with the others?
Oh, I have to study my It's not the same as sleeping in.
Okay.
Look like sleeping in to the uninitiated. Basically just lying in place with my book, which is what I would be doing at night too. So, except this time my eyes are open.
You're memming spells by osmosis by sleeping on your spell book.
Wouldn't that technically mean that the
It's
spells
also
are
how I
absorbing
studied in
her?
college.
If she's sleeping on top of the spell book, wouldn't it then be, her being absorbed into the spell book?
Possible.
So Mordecai, you can feel that the spell's going to be fading here in a bit. Hopefully you can hold out a little bit longer so Bright's book doesn't get blown around in the beach breeze. So.
Oh, it's okay. I have little clips for the pages. It's a very nice book.
Okay.
And then when the dome goes, Mordecai starts waking everybody up.
Sure.
Who isn't awake already?
Oh. Okay. I guess we're doing that now.
Wait, what are we doing?
You just woke. You said, I'm gonna go wake up the guard who sleeps with his eyes open.
Yes, I did.
I was gonna see him come over already.
You don't sleep with your eyes open because you can see. You're still unconscious. The only reason you keep your eyes open is so anybody looking at you from a distance isn't sure if you're asleep or awake.
Awake, yeah. That's bad. He's gonna wake up and... Mordecai might get punched in the face.
Poke.
Yeah. So immediately, as soon as you poke, you've just end up seeing that he ends up flailing out from under the covers, buck naked with a knife going right for you.
Selene just cackles maniacally under her mask.
Even in the wilds, you sleep naked?
It gets really hot. Sorry. It gets really warm in that armor.
Good morning,
It's
Jacob.
okay, friend. We understand.
Yeah, Kazimir, it sounds like there's a bit of a commotion going on underneath this opaque dome.
I can pay. If the dome's gone, I can see
The dome's gone by now.
Yeah,
Oh,
I can
shoot!
see
Yeah,
it.
you were doing that. All right, so yeah. Yeah, you just look down from the dune and just we have.
Friend, you might want to be a bit more modest. There are girls around.
Selene just snorts and is like, oh, that's not...
There's
I
just
don't particularly care.
the animated filling of red as he realizes his situation.
Selene's just like, investigator, I deal with dead bodies on a regular basis. You're not really showing me anything I haven't seen before.
I'm going to keep a professional demeanor in response to that. Excuse me.
As you wish.
So
It's so open, I'm not taking it.
you gather up your small clothes and other effects and go to do what you need to do here. So I mean, it's morning. I mean, if y'all you gotta
Just gathering
eat,
my
use the
things.
restroom, do whatever you gotta do here. There's still no one on the beach except you all. And in those
We're
first
kind of in the middle of nowhere.
those kind of first rays of sun, I mean, Mordecai, of course, you have to wrap up, but hey, it's still cold enough that you can probably get away with it. But for those of you that they hit, it does feel very nice and warm, and it seems like it will be a very nice spring day. The fire isn't a problem. It's already built on sand, and there's really no embers, no real smoke. It kind of smells smoky around. The charred sticks that held the fish are sort of burnt down to their nubbins, all seems to be going well. Bright is there studying spells. Selene, you have some praying to do as you are going to get your daily spell list ready as well. Mordecai, you don't even have to worry about any of that. You just have your spells.
I just
You
have
just
them.
wake up
They're
and
just
they're
on hand.
Yeah, they're just right there.
I have to write them though.
Yeah.
Investigator is currently just like polishing everything to a mirror shine the morning, make sure the boots are well and done, everything just as a proper green shield soldier.
Mordecai's just
we'll
gathering
sharpen
his
them.
things. Yep.
The salt water's pretty bad for armor. The sand is pretty good for it because at least it'll scrub it if you kind of go around and you shake out the sand out of some dry armor. So yeah, you can start getting a nice shine to things.
Yeah, but he's going to specifically make sure that he tries to end up finding the finest sand he can because that's how you get a mirror finish.
Sure. So you can go hunting up and down the beach looking for like a higher grade, whatever that might mean to might mean to Jacob here. Kazimir, you are still up on the dune. Go ahead and give me another perception since you're up high. You haven't really stopped watching. You're just sort of lurking atop the. Oh, all right then.
He's transcending perception.
Yeah. So with a 26.
Very well.
It looks like there's. So we're gonna go out to. You're looking around, and of course, I mean, there's some hijinks going on. Jacob kind of slunk off to the, to the seagrass or whatever to change, and he's trying to find some sand. Bright is looking through her book. Selene is finishing up her, any sort of her prayers and like not magical rituals, but her dogmatic practices to invoke her goddess and to perform various charms and ask for favors. Mordecai just sort of stretches. Kind of like, oh, stretch. I kind of scratch the belly, just sort of, oh, it's another day. And you see that out at sea. Oh, hi, cat. Out at sea. Maybe because there was a storm elsewhere. There's a lot of, I guess, driftwood or something that is out on the water and is washing up closer. And you can see it a lot better now that the sun is starting to sparkle off of the waves, and it just looks like some bobbing darkness like it's going along here that is probably just going to wash up like everything else here.
It's just driftwood, or
maybe it's a good distance out. So you can see that there's like debris, or hopefully a ship didn't crash or something. There's like maybe debris or something that is out like out in the sea. It's not in this like wave crashing zone. It's out in the sea, but it does seem like it's it'll be washed up here.
Hmm.
I mean, you can maintain this perch and keep your eye on it. That's not a problem. But you see that there's something out in the sea.
Friends, there is large amount of driftwood out there today.
Really? I would like to also
Yes.
take a look.
I
Come
finished
up to
practicing
them,
spells
easier
yet.
to see.
Yeah,
I-
we're
'cause I-
winding up the hour so that it takes you all to get this done. Probably not absolutely complete yet, but this is
Yeah.
towards that time.
It's only a minute per spell level, and I didn't need to change very much. So
I must be thinking of another edition.
It used to take
Yeah.
a lot longer.
Yeah.
it used to take a lot longer. It's just a minute per level of spell that you're changing. So if you're changing out, if you're changing, putting a first level spell on your list, it only takes a minute to prepare.
Make a perception, Selene.
I'm going to do that.
Celine, if you
And-
May
still
I as well?
could use the water walk again to go out there and take a look at it closer.
Oh yeah, no, that I can ritual cast that. So I might do that. Ouch.
It's
a bit too
as
far
you're
out.
looking out, like the sun is still rising. There's a lot of kind of glittering. There's a lot of kind of glittering going off on the waves here. So it's difficult. I mean, Kazimir
That's
sounded earnest, but you're having difficulty seeing something a little far out. Mordecai, if you'd like to, you can. I won't stop.
That's alright.
Sure.
It's alright. So what I'll do?
Same thing. Ah, the light.
Oh, it's fine though. You wanna know why? Because I'm gonna go out there and take a look,
Sure.
and I'll cast water walk as a ritual, so everyone can walk on the water.
Do not get dunked in the water.
And I will go and walk on the water and go have a look at what's out there.
Walked away.
Okay.
But I steady, Jacob. Steady.
Just dealing with the.
She knows lots of magic.
Are we all going out there?
No,
I'm
I
not-
You
think-
all.
I'm gonna stay behind with Mordecai.
It's fine. I'm just gonna go for a walk.
Sure.
And Selene will walk out towards it on the water.
Kazimir will join
Oh.
you.
Okay.
Mr. Silverleaf,
Yes.
just to be clear, she is wearing heavy amounts of armor, is she not?
Scale, I think.
Scale.
Okay. So I am just going to. Well, hopefully it's not too deep. 'Cause I can't run out there.
I might have a spell that could help us, actually.
Let this develop. One of the fatal flaws of every single plan is assuming that you can cover everything. And given how this is going to go, I am more concerned about body retrieval if anything goes wrong. She's going to sink like a stone, let's just be honest here.
I'm not. Don't want that to happen at all.
No, of course not. So start remembering that's what you want rather than running out there. Now we have 3 people to rescue.
Okay.
I've had a mismatch with, or a mishap with a volunteer fire department. One person's in a burning house, volunteer fireman here runs in to save them. Now you have 2 people trapped in a burning house. I'd rather not have that situation happen here with drowning.
Well, Selene just walks across the surface of the water, like it was solid ground.
Oh, he's aware. He's aware.
Selene, give me a acrobatics check.
Acrobatic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do acrobatics. I'm gonna very quickly ask for some guidance, then I'll do it.
Okay.
It's a 19.
19. All right. So, Selene, you're very confident. You're going to go out there. You start stepping. You start stepping on the water, and sure enough, I mean, your magic holds. It's not necessarily a concern there. However, the surface upon which you're walking is itself pitching and churning, and for a moment, you kind of go whoa, and you fall, and you manage to, and you're there, just sort of bobbing on the waves as you're having to, you know, your surface is moving.
Yeah,
Selene.
I'm fine. It's all good. I mean, I can't actually like fall in anywho.
So yeah, you can at least until you get out to where the waves aren't starting to hit the shallower, the shallower part of the beach or the sand underneath to roll up. It'll be a little tough going getting out there because you have a lot of waves that are splashing and tumbling around.
Yeah, if it's difficult terrain, I'll go. You know.
Kazimir is coming with.
Yep.
Okay.
Which he can because he was a target of the spell.
I'm staying behind with Mordecai.
Oh, Kazimir, you're going out there. Tell you what, Kazimir, make a dex saving throw.
Dex save.
26. All right.
Oh.
It's a nice screen number there. So Mordecai, we can almost explain it like this. You're watching as Selene and Kazimir go out. Selene starts to tumble, and Kazimir, I have you, and like kind of swoops in, riding on the waves as they're both kind of like gyrating and wibbling around as the waves are crashing around them. And you have the sea breeze blowing through their hair. It is cats everywhere. Just hey, you got one. I got one too. He's right here. So yeah, just Mordecai, just Kazimir with absolute, like, with the fluidity of the ocean itself, swoops in and stabilizes. Like, Selene kind of catches herself, but Kazimir, like, absolutely stabilizes her and like sets her up, kind of like, not really dusts her off, but just beautiful grace just swoops in. And now, Kazimir, if you want to add anything to that narrative, you're welcome to do so.
Good.
No? Okay.
Perfect.
He always seems to be in the right place at the right time.
Well, we're gonna get out there and take a look at what this thing is.
Jacob, were you walking out there too? Or were you staying on shore?
That's a good question. He can walk out there if he so desires.
Yeah.
Jacob?
Oh.
I don't.
Hello?
I think.
Sound die?
Oh, did your
Yeah.
earphones die? Maybe. Bright, are you walking out there?
Oh, I'm staying behind with Mordecai still.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well.
No, just checking to make sure if you were going out onto the water.
No,
No.
I'm
Okay.
I'm staying right on shore.
Are you like
Staying
in the
here,
middle of
yeah.
the beach, or are you like where the waves are finishing, washing up on the sand?
I'm going to be about 10 feet away from the waves.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
What I am gonna do is I'm gonna never mind. I'm not gonna do that. I changed my mind.
Okay. I tried to think, but nothing happened.
No, I thought, and then I thought again.
The curse of a wizard.
The second thought contradicted the first one.
Just staying here was right.
Okay. And so, Bright and Mordecai, then, are you also... Are you going to be with Jacob and be sort of like 10 feet where the last of the waves kind of like, boo, just like the last little drop rolls over the sand? Or are you like in the middle of the beach over here?
I'll go up to the shore. I have lots of things ready. I just
I'll save.
haven't
I'll do that.
used them yet.
Okay, all right. So y'all are just going to be right about here. Sure. Okay. So I will present to you all as if I kind of knew something like this might happen, where I would need to know where you're standing. I see that look. This is why we have cameras. So we have an area that is represented by that picture where you're at. The dome is gone. We can see that there is a 15-foot high, like, sand cliff that's held together by a bunch of thick, dry, kind of coming back to life because it's springtime, seagrass. There is an area between the two banks of seagrass that is a ramp, kind of like a sandy ramp going up, and you can see the elevation 5 feet, 10 feet, and if you're at the top of the ramp, it's 15 feet. There is a sand dune here, a rather large one, where you can go up 5 feet, or another, if you're standing at the top of here, it's 10 feet tall. There's another little sand dune here that's only 5 feet tall. Oh, it's a little babu sand dune. There is a bunch of driftwood that is still remaining, because there is a lot. And every line is just representing that there is driftwood along the shore. That's not representing every stick or log or branch that has washed up. It's just an indicator. Now, there are... I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Moving on the beach is normal, not difficult terrain. The reeds up here, by the way, you can hide in them. They can give you cover because they're thick, and it's also difficult terrain to move through because of that.
Why ever would we need to hide?
I don't know. It might be suspicious driftwood. The line between the solid yellow and the solid light blue is difficult terrain because this is the crash zone. Like, this is where the waves are actually like starting to form and roll and crash up. So the yellow line would be that, where the last little bit of a wave ends on the sandy beach. And the blue line out here is where the waves are starting to roll forward. So after this light blue line where you start seeing the dark blue lines, that is more the deeper water. It has waves, but it's not as roiling and crashing because the water does get deeper. And so we have... let me go grab some folks here. We have a Bright. We have a Kazimir. And we have a Selene. So you two had just, you started strolling out into the crash zone here, and that's when we had our, whoa! And Kazimir, caught the lovely Selene in this beautiful rolling scene of natural beauty. And then we have the others who are where they are, as further out to sea off the map is this large patch of dark somethings in the water that Kazimir saw a distance off. And so with you all having woken up for the morning, I hope that you have you've prayed well for your spells or read whatever you've needed to read, because who knows what's going to happen in game. I know it's going to happen out of game. We're going to get up and take a break because your DM has to get up and take a break. So I have 119. I will need to get a snack in me here, so let's come back at 1:30. Is that all right? And we'll see what happens with this investigation, this water walking investigation, as you're walking out to sea. If it matters any, technically this is east, so the sun is rising. There would be some shadow coming off the sand dunes. I forgot to draw that in, but we'll play it if it comes to it, or I'll just add some gray streaks real quick when we're there. But I gotta get up. So, do you have something real quick?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, aren't we on the west coast of Mizamaska? How can the water be to the east?
No, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'm not north.
Anyway.
Because we're actually in the Feywild.
Shh. You are,
That is what did not work.
there will be shadows. Your DM must have dotted his T's and crossed his I's. Still, let's come back in 10 minutes.
Okay.